The programming, I'm Chase Ingram.
I'm Captain America.
Along with me is Bill Grundler.
Wolverine.
And we have the man behind the programming to join us today, Mr. J.R. Howell.
The CPU is a neural net processor, a learning computer.
I feel as soon as we get like a really good one of yours, no John Young, but we'll get there. But all right, brother, you are in the stands. You've got the backdrop of what is to come, the Syndicate Crown, starting on Friday. And in the text chat, am I the only one that's not going?
I think so, yes.
Dang it.
Dang. Yes, Spin. There's late, and then there's late. It was like 5 minutes late.
That was actually really good for us.
Yeah, that's pretty standard, actually. It's like starting a workout. Like, hey, I know class starts at 6, but we let everybody talk until 6:05, and then I come out of the office and find what are y'all doing?
The 907 class.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's great. Oh, Seth, already trying to jump ship from the WPF desk and hoping to get a job with you guys next year. Like that, because you're jump ship training. No,
Oh, I got you. I was picking up what you're putting down. I felt
picking
it.
up what I'm putting down.
I felt it.
You felt it. All right, good.
I don't hate what you do. I just hate what you look like.
Mr. John Young and baby in the house. Is that right?
Yes. Look what we got going on here. I don't know if you can see this contraption I got going on.
You are an ultimate dad.
I cannot move my foot during this podcast.
Is she bench pressing that pillow? Is that what's going on right there?
So we're working as a team. So if it ever gets out, I'll leave for 1 second and come back.
Great. Yeah, that is so great. Well, we got JR and John Young in the house, as well as Bill Grundler. And when JR, I know you've been on site for how many days now?
I got here on Monday night, so this is day 2. But
me too. Is the family coming at all, or are they waiting for you at Disney World for the 4th time this year?
No, Well, I've still got one with stitches at home, so she's not.
Oh no!
Anywhere, yeah. Two with stitches in 6 days was pretty crazy. My wife and my 6-year-old, I think, are going to come up on Saturday and hopefully spend the night. My youngest is not going to come up at all. She's staying at home.
Is this true?
Oh, interesting.
I'm trying hard to find a quiet spot, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good, bro. We're here to talk. People are here to talk to you. Really hear from you, not really from Bill and I. Maybe John Young, but the crew is descending upon. Is it Nashville? Knoxville.
Doesn't even know where it's at. Good.
Listen, if I'm not,
you're
I'm
as
not Dave
plugged out
Cash.
as you can be. Oh my god!
If I'm not Dave, I'm like Dave Cash is like. If I'm not there, then I don't.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's not even real to me. No, I'm just kidding. I am the only one that won't be there, but I'll be traveling to San Antonio to see my little brother, my big little brother, and my parents. Yeah, my younger brother.
Yeah.
And get our kids together and play. They haven't seen each other in a while, so I'll be making the 5-hour trip to San Antonio tomorrow. And then I'll be watching as a fan all weekend long to the wonderful sounds of Bill Grundler and John Young. That will be doing everything they can to get this stream kicked off YouTube the entire weekend. At least John Young will be doing everything he can, and Bill will do everything he can to not allow that to happen.
We're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it so fun. It's gonna be so awesome.
And one of our like media meetings, John like raised his hand, not like you would raise a hand in a Google Meet, like electronically, but raised his hand until called upon.
I had a question.
Was like how PG are we making this here? Like,
I want to know exactly what is expected.
Which is a fair question, man. And I'm actually really like proud that you asked that, because that's a fair question.
And then I gave an example.
I told him, I said, dude, booster seat Lydia, perfect. I was like,
booster seat Lydia.
I was like, saying people are trash, also good. I said, but it probably stops there, you know?
and then I gave an example, and then Wilson just cringed when I gave this example. And then JR was like, probably hold off on that one. And I was like, okay, now I have a line that I am aware of, and we're good. We can move forward.
Is this true?
That's I can't wait to see how many times you jump back and forth over that line. But we are going to preview the programming of the Syndicate Crown, which was programmed by the man directly below me, Mr. J.R. Howell. J.R., we talked earlier before we even got live, is like you've been running Crash, obviously your affiliate, Crash Crescendo, Crash Crucible. You've been doing those things for years. You double up on a yearly basis. But now for the first time, like you are in one of the most coveted seats in the world to program a games qualifying event, secondary to program the games itself. What's that feel like for you to be in this position with Syndicate Crown?
I think because it was something that, I mean, in conversations like you and Bill have had, or me and John have had, or whatever, it's easy to say, man, I would kill for that chance. Like, that's the one thing I want to be able to do. And then when someone gives it to you, you kind of snap out of that, pinch me, this is real. And you're like, let's get to work. There's a job at hand. Let's do the job the best we can. And then when I got here, that like same feeling of, is this real? Did I do a good enough job? Are the right people going to make it? That started to come over me. So it's been a lot of different emotions for sure. But now I would say I'm to the point where I'm nervous but really excited. In the same way for Crash, but because there's so much more on the line, this feels different for sure.
It's maybe one of those where you're just waiting to get that first, like into that first event, and then really it's off and running. Because I feel like the hardest thing, and you know, all of us have been a part of events, whether we put them on ourselves or. But I feel like the hardest thing is just anticipating the first 3, 2, 1 go. And then once it's rolling, you're just kind of managing the flow, because once the event's going, there's really not too much else you can really do in the heat of it.
No, and what makes it a lot different than like Crucible is I am not answering emails from sponsors and making sure the floor gets taped correctly and doing the programming. Like what Wilson does is insane. And how like all competition organizers don't run their competitions on this scale like he does. I would be hard pressed to know why. Like, I think that he leaves no stone unturned. I think his attention to detail is second to none. It's really opened my eyes, one, to the fact that I don't want to do that, that I want to be on this side of it, on the artist side of it, on the maybe the relationship side of it, but just how, I mean, Bill and John know, like, flow charts and to the second schedules, and it's just really, really, really professionally done, that I know I don't have to worry about anything like that, which is a different feeling, because normally I'm the person that's thinking about all those things.
Yeah, the best way to put it is like, if anybody's been to Disney World, well, Wilson does this like Disney World. It's not, there's Six Flags, there's a whole bunch of different amusement parks, but what's different about Disney World? All the little details. It's like literally everything is amazing. The smallest things you would never think about until you're there, and then that's what Disney does better than everybody else. Is the little you smell different things that they want you to smell. Like, they import smells in some of their rides, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's that's what I would akin it to.
Yeah, it's crazy that it was wild that he's so calm about it. At least outwardly. I mean, I've only seen him a handful of times, like on our meetings and whatever, and he just seems like cool as a cucumber.
He does not.
Cool as a cucumber, you know?
Yeah, Wilson's awesome.
Yeah. Hey, JR, so we know that we are programming just nerds. We akin it all the time to like the artistry of the program and all the things. Since, I mean, we've come up with these workouts a while ago now. You've seen all the other semis that have come out. Has there been at any point where you're like, I wonder if I should have switched it to this?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, even after all the I mean, you did, and I think, and we've talked about how important it is to program, or how important it is to test your programming, and you've tested these events with great athletes. So, like, where is it? Just nerves that you think that like maybe there's something you would switch, or is it something that like You just kind of you're retooling the sword a little bit, or like what is like?
I 100% think it's two things. I think it's paralysis by analysis. I think because I've had so much time to just sit and stare at them
Mhm.
over and over and over that you eventually just pick them apart and say you hate them all. And you know,
I know.
you do the whole situation with Heavy Isabel, and this whole programming was based on that. Because when Wilson asked me to do this, I knew
Oh, was that your keystone event? Was Heavy Isabel?
so I know how much he loves programming, and
Dang.
I knew how near and dear the 1-rep max is to him in the syndicate history, that I was like, I really want to do Heavy Isabel. I've never seen it in a competition. I think it would be awesome. Let's do it for event 1 because they always have a 1-rep max like snatch or clean and jerk.
Mhm.
And sure, other people had the idea, which is awesome. But looking back on how many people have done it, how many different times, and then that an affiliate did it, that joy has just, I've let it and I'm so happy that it's event 1, so I never have to look at it or think about it.
Yeah,
I can
dude,
see that.
I'm with you because when we got to talk prior to any events getting released anywhere in the world, when you had already been taken over this, and you had mentioned about Heavy Isabel, and I was like, fun,
Dude.
fantastic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the first week. We're all about
Yeah.
it.
And now that we've seen it so many times, I'm just like, yeah, I never want to watch this event.
and I don't
ever
blame-
again.
I don't blame anybody for
Yeah.
like looking at the syndicate program and then just being like, yeah, it's pretty good. God, I can't stand Isabel. Like, I mean, because I think it does leave a certain taste at this point.
Yeah.
It's why I try to explain, while everyone doesn't do multiple regionals or semifinals when they have used uniform programming and you just go where you go, it's guys, it is that feeling you feel before event 1 is why all the people like us think that uniform programming by week 4, everyone is sick of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's when the best athletes are going. But everyone's so over watching the same workouts for 3 weeks straight that they can't really appreciate them anymore just because they're stale, you know? So
You know what's crazy though is that you pick that without anybody knowing. You pick that as your keystone, where everyone else picked it as like, we're just gonna we'll throw it into the mix.
We'll add it.
Oh, I think
No.
JR had bigger things in mind. I think
agree with
he's
that.
got a devious mindset about this.
About what? About the Heavy Isabel?
I think he wanted to do Heavy Isabel before anybody else, and then he just let everybody else do it, because what it does is it paints you into a corner, and good programmers show themselves and bad programmers also show themselves in competition, because Heavy Isabel in itself lends your competition to, it's very hard to be well balanced. You can be, but it's very hard to be well balanced. And we've seen other semifinals not know how to program with that event in place.
No, I agree.
And I think
agree with
JR's
that.
just exposing everybody. He doesn't even care that it's his keystone. He just wants to expose all the bad programmers out there.
I don't see that at all. I don't see that at all.
Well,
I like what you're
he did it.
saying.
I
I
know
know
what you're
he did it indirectly. I don't think that it was a devious thought to do it. I think what's interesting is the fact that he painted with his programming prowess around that, utilizing that. Whereas everyone else tried to take that square peg and what round hole could they fit it into, and they just jammed it in. They're like, we'll do that one, and we'll throw a 1-rep max on that too. How about that?
A couple events for sure did that.
You know, and that's what I think is really interesting. So I'm
I get what John's saying.
It's interesting. No,
It's a
dude,
conspiracy theory.
I
Yeah,
I mean,
but
I
I'm
like
not-
it.
Let's
It's
let him tinfoil.
I'm
It's
still, I'm
fun.
still working on it.
Let him
It's fun.
All right, boys.
It shows you who should not be in charge of programming events, is all I'm saying.
Dude, I can't wait for our after the semis programming event.
JR, there's a petition going on to make you come on to the analyzing show.
Sure.
Actually, Wilson Pack was the one who initiated it. I don't know. He's like,
Yeah.
You got to have
I mean,
JR on that.
this is like a whole deep dive conversation. But what I think is like the purpose and the goal of this is not, let me see if I can find something funky, like I do at Crucible, or let me see if people can adapt. It's like more of the right two people need to go to the CrossFit Games, number one priority. And I even heard a lot of people on shows being like, this isn't really typical JR programming like we're used to. Well, yeah, it's because we always talk about this. What is it for? What's the purpose? Is it just a cool competition and you want to do some different things and you have all the control in the world and you know the level of athlete that's always going to come? And like I program these workouts like the East Field from last year was going to be there. So if you look at those leaderboards, that's who they're programmed for. And I think that is the second question that people don't think about. You can't program workouts and say that they're going to allow for separation at the very top, at the very tip of the spear. You cannot do it that way. They don't all hold up as those kinds of workouts. So I programmed them, like Jeff, Dallin, Jason, Austin, Tia, Emma Lawson. Like I programmed them with those fields in mind because who knows who makes it beforehand. I didn't know that. I didn't know who would choose to do which competition. So I can't let that come into the equation. But doing this, coming on, not defending your programming, but explaining it, answering questions. When people say, dude, why didn't you do handstand push-ups? They're kind of like, they've kind of fallen out of favor in the programming world. Like, why did you do that? Okay, cool. Great question. This is why I did it. Like, that's what I would like. That's important because it's easy to look at someone's programming and say, you like it or you don't. Because listen, we can all be using the same colors, but the brush strokes can do everything, right? And that's okay. Inevitably, you will also usually like what you are good at. And so you will say what you like is good programming or bad programming. So there's all kinds of subjectivity that go into it. But if you have someone and you have programmers that can speak to it, movement patterns, movement selection, weightlifting implements, gymnastics movements, how many press, how many pull, how many hinge, how many squat, it can at least show you why. And I think a lot of people can just say, yeah, I like that, or yeah, don't like that. Okay, that's cool. You need to know the why, because even if it doesn't change your opinion, you're still more likely to say, I might not like it, but it's still a really well-rounded test. Because at the end of the day, we want it to be well-rounded. That's it.
Well, and the good thing there is that there was this trend for a while where programmers wanted to be the highlight of the event that they were programming versus the event itself.
Right.
Where they're like, oh, we want people to know who is programming this. And taking yourself out of that, I think, is a key part of making a well-rounded test, because otherwise you just let that skew what people's perception of the programming would be versus how it gets implemented on the competition floor. So, all right, we'll start off with event one, because I know you really want to spend a lot of time here on this. I will say this. I love that Heavy Isabel is event one. Obviously, we've seen it every which way so far at semifinals. We've seen it in the middle. We've seen it as the second event of a tough day at Mayhem Classic to kick off these qualifying events. We've seen it as the finale, which is just an absolute... This is blasphemy. It's ridiculous that would be a part of someone's programming to put it at the end. But to put it at the beginning, and JR, you are a studious nerd of programming, not just the nuts and bolts as you described earlier, push, pull modalities and all that other jazz. That's cool. People can learn that, right? That's teachable. But what you do is you deep dive into .com, you deep dive into regionals, and you always have some type of tip of the cap in every little event. Not every one, but most of them is something there. And the tip I see here is bringing back old regional days. I think it was 2015 and maybe again in like 2018 or so, where they started with a snatch ladder right off the bat. We're going to get the strength one out of the way so you guys can de-stress the next 5 events, and then we party. Is that what went into putting it first? Why did you put it first for the weekend?
That reason for sure. The order of the events how they lay out over the weekend, I think is really, really overlooked. Not just from a, oh man, you just crushed their legs, you're going to crush their legs again, but more so from the leaderboard shifts and the, okay, this type of athlete's probably going to really excel here. Are they going to see early on in the second workout of the day where there's already kind of a chink in the armor? Okay, cool. Who's left after that first day? All right, how does the next day start? So whatever you put first affects everything. And back in those days, and I have been the biggest proponent of like not doing a 3-rep max overhead squat from the floor fresh, or not doing a max snatch, or not doing a max hang snatch fresh, because I think in a 6 or a 7 event competition, it can really, really skew leaderboards. This has so much fitness to it. Yes, it's a power output strength test, but what it really is too is it's showing fitness while also showing you're strong, and not just strength, but technical strength. And I think that's a really, really important distinction, because if we did, 30 deadlifts per time at 405, yeah, still barbell, still reps, still some fitness, but a little bit different than something technical like a snatch.
What
a little
went, What went to the because I mean, we've seen in different versions, we've seen people just do 30 snatches in place depending on the floor plan that they got to. We've seen advancing every 5, we've seen advancing every 10, we've seen 2 sets of 10, 2 sets of 5. Your advancement is 12.963 on the competition floor. What led to that?
Yeah, I think because of the venue space. We've got 2 competition floors this year because we'll have teams going sometimes while the individuals are going. We have some community divisions going. I knew early on I was working off of a 40-foot floor.
Okay.
So then decisions have to be made, right? And some programming things have to be shifted and moved around a little bit. And things like that are awesome because they challenge programmers to not always have all the control, right? So we knew, hey, we probably can have 4 sections, or maybe we can have 8 sections of 5 feet. Hey, we're using this for this event. We're using 10 feet for this event. Typically, you want to set something up like this up so that the race can be at the end. And while just rolling the bar forward 10 feet isn't a huge rest, it is almost like a recharge and a rest, so that as you move through the workout, it's more clear who's in the race and who's not, but also who's paced correctly and who can do the 6, roll forward, take a breath, and let the last 3 snatches be the fastest. I think over the weeks of programming, the people who are able to either maintain a fast speed or speed up at the end have done the best.
Is this true?
Now, this isn't the only thing that's happening with this event, because on Friday, Mr. John Young, are you taking what's going on Friday? Is this Friday night, Friday midday?
It's Friday morning, and like right after. So we're basically heat 0.
He opens the show.
It sets Syndicate off, and then as soon as we're done, heat 1 of the men go.
Okay.
So like that's what I think.
Is
It's
it
me
you by
and 6
yourself?
or 7 other guys.
Okay, cool. Now there's is something on the line too. This isn't just ego. You guys is there
$500 to the winner. Now I'm gonna tell you something. I thought, I didn't really think, but I was gonna act like I did. JR put those 12 snatches out there in front just to see if I could touch and go all of them. I did touch and go 12 snatches in a row just to see what it would do to me. And I think I hyperventilated for 90 and then I almost failed the 13th snatch. Was like, well, that's not going to happen.
Now, was this on the warm up to, did you just hit 295 for a power snatch?
I did. I bet you, it's sad, as JR said, what people are not going to understand is that this is a fitness test.
This is blasphemous.
And I might power snatch more than everybody out there, even in the elite field. I think I would power snatch more than everybody out there. I think I might power snatch more than Guy. I've not seen him do a very heavy power snatch.
Is this true?
I will not have an elite time like a sub 5-minute time. You know what I mean? Because it is a fitness test,
and it should be right now. There's no reason to be doing a specialist test right now. We should be doing fitness
workout.
tests.
But it's I'm gonna have a blast doing it. I think there's gonna be some guys that I might get caught up in the race, but I'm going to try. I'm gonna blow myself up trying to win if I think I can.
Okay, and Chase, so you know how we always have like the keys to success?
Yeah.
We're gonna be doing the flip of that. We're doing doomed if you do.
Oh.
And so John's gonna come up with his doomed if you do things, like what is gonna really F you up in this event. So he may test out his own doomed if you do on the
I
first
will.
one.
I think I'm gonna pace like the first 15 and then evaluate. And after that, like if somebody's ahead of me, I'm just gonna go as fast as I can until I'm ahead of them. And if I can last 15 reps, which I probably can't, but God has a hand. He had a hand on me during those 100 bar facing burpees. He might have a hand on me here too. Maybe I can pull out 5. I doubt it, but that's the game plan.
Yeah, I like it. All right, well, that's event 1. I think that'll be great. And then here comes event 2. As that freaking picture won't come up, I have to do this. All right. There. Event 2, Regionals Revenge. Just again, we're talking JR's app here. Now, here's been I'm gonna speak for JR. I was about to say I'm not going to. I'm 100% about to speak for JR.
All right.
An event like this, where it's a high volume endurance test, have gone away from regionals and games probably since the last time a hundreds event was programmed, which is the 2013 regionals. Now, that wasn't the first hundreds event that was ever programmed, which a little bit of that is in this. And JR, you are coming out and showing exactly why something like this should be in play. In 2012, the back squat, front squat, overhead squat, pull up, right? Where it's just a high volume test versus the punt to doing it all machines, where it's like, hey, we're just going to go really long machines, and this is our long endurance test. And you're doing it with movements and reps, and you're bringing back the hundreds event for event number 2 here at Syndicate.
Yeah, I started this off by saying, hey, what's the purpose of this, right? It's not just to say, oh, do you guys remember they used the trapeze bar at a semifinal and it was like they ever programmed it, right? Like it's not that's not what it's about.
Is this cool?
Do I think this workout hopefully will be memorable because it's easy to remember the rep scheme and because it's like, man, I remember the first hundreds chipper had 100 double unders, and back then it took people as long as it took the people to do the 100 overhead squats. You know what I mean? And then the next one was, dude, 100 snatches at 70. No one knew how to cycle a dumbbell snatch, and they're doing just 100 singles with that thing after pistols, like with all the wall balls before, with all the chest to bar. So, but I would be lying if I said there weren't some things that just kind of irk me that I wanted to bring to the forefront. One is the trickle down that we used to get a lot. That we used to get heavy wall ball at the ranch, heavy wall ball the next year in 2017 on the chipper. We got, just this obvious, like, hey guys, if we're doing this at the games, you need to be ready to do it the next year to get to the games. 100-pound dumbbell snatch one year for however many reps, 70-pound dumbbell snatch for 100 reps at the end of a chipper the next year.
Yeah.
So this idea of when we go long, it doesn't have to have running. And that has been a very, very common theme. Either the run is in the long event or the longest event, or the long event isn't CrossFit the way we know it is NWG. It's lots of aerobic. It's lots of monostructure. I mean, look at event 1 at the games, right? And we'll get to the yoke workout later, but my goodness, the message is still there. You have to be able to run to compete at the CrossFit Games, which is awesome. But to get there, you can test running. You can also go long, but you can go long doing CrossFit. And this is like, I mean, you guys know this is how we used to go long. We used to go long and just grind away at simple, basic CrossFit movements.
I love it.
I need to ask Brent Fikowski if he's giving this one a crack.
Yeah, this, I mean,
Of course he would.
yeah.
He
Yeah.
would do it because honestly, because the people from our time, like this looks fun. It looks
Yeah.
fun.
There's a lot. There's a
This is
All
blasphemy.
the, come on, all the hundreds have been fun.
The
There's
last
a
thing I
lot
want
of-
to do is 100 front squats at the end of anything.
there's a lot of strategy. There's a lot of opportunity for really good coaches to shine too,
Yeah.
and to get with their athletes and be like, hey, we've had a couple weeks to prep for this. Do we test the whole thing in full? Do you want to know what that feels like at the end? Do you not want to know what it feels like at the end because you'll cower away from it when the time comes? Do we want to play with big chunks of toes to bar and just kind of go slow on the burpees and set ourselves up for big sets of squats? Do we want to slow play it from the beginning and be a little bit behind on the bike, be behind on the toes to bar, and then try to pick up the pace on the burpee? There's a lot of area for people to make up ground, but one of the things I really wanted to drive home was this idea. For the long time now, whenever there is a machine in a workout, typically to get to the games, it is the linchpin. It is how hard can you bike? It is how hard can you row? It is who's the most powerful.
Is this true?
In this workout and in the rowing workout, they are unmistakably the least important movements.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so this just idea of bringing it back to where we came from a little bit and saying, hey man, I just want to know what your capacity is. It doesn't matter what it is on a cyclical thing, like
Yeah.
a machine.
Right.
Like, I just want to can you go long? And can you go long without it just being based on your body weight? Like, that's what I want to know in this workout specifically.
Man, I just like these kind of things remind me of all the different pacing variations, and I can't wait to see the innovations of the stuff that's going to happen. Remember when it was the 2011, 2012 regional when we had the 100 chest to bar pull-ups?
2013.
2013. That was 13? That was
Yeah.
13. Jeez, oh man. And Rich did sets of 5.
Right.
Mhm.
And we were like, what the hell is he doing?
So far behind.
And everyone else was doing start off with a set of
And
like
he's
45.
sitting there
50.
thinking, "You idiots!"
yeah.
Right. And I mean, and that's what was so amazing about that and about having these hundreds of events like this is because it allowed everyone to say, okay, how can I play my piece the best?
Mhm.
How can I showcase my capacity, but still staying in the game? And that's, that's what Brent got his fame from. Same type of thing. He knew how many seconds for each rep of this set, how many for this set, how many for this set. So I'm real excited to watch what people do on this because I want to see the young guns go out there and try to take the biggest bite that they can.
Yeah.
See how long they can hang out there and then where
Am
they
I allowed
end
to
up
say
dying.
retarded on the broadcast?
Probably not.
This is blasphemy.
You can come up with another word, but
Like-
it's, in that realm,
If
you can say
somebody
that
comes
was
out
trash.
hot on the bike.
Yeah,
I'm
just
like,
say your
listen,
much to him.
listen,
Your
this kid is special. That's all.
You
that's
can
what I'm
say
gonna
you can say, wow, his bike sure does look yellow.
It just, I mean, I feel like
He's
that's
riding the
worse.
yellow bus, riding the yellow bike.
Giving away all the codes.
Um,
Well, I'll say this is that if anybody knows me and when we talk like buy-ins to certain events, now buy-in being, hey, do this thing and then do the rest of the workout.
Yeah.
In my one of my bigger pet peeves is a monostructural buy-in that is irrelevant to the event, right? I don't see that in this event, and it's not because that I like JR, because I'll be very honest with my opinion, and I've never held back with that. What I see here is it's the first part of an event, no different than the 100 wall ball shots were in the 2013 regional event, because that was total just pacing. And it's trying to find the person who can just ride that line almost to irrelevance of the buy-in, but still keep yourself in the game for that. And I see that with the bike. So before anybody keeps the receipts of buy-ins, I just want to jump out as yes, is that going to all three of these I see is all right, bike, you're going to make sure that you can show you have the capacity to keep this steady pace that's uncomfortable but not going to break you. And if it does, then you made a mistake. Or you bike too slow and now you're 2 minutes behind. A lot of time can be lost if you can't find the perfect pace on the bike. And then you go to the toes to bar. How you ever want to break those up? All right, well, now I smashed my legs and my lungs. Now I'm going to the rig and my core and my grip's going. And now I got to do 100 bar facing burpees, which is going to tax all the things I've just tested because people forget how much core flexion is going to be taxed on a burpee and then jumping over. And now I have to do 100 front squats. I see the first 3 as this horrific buy-in.
Yeah, it's a 300 rep buy-in.
300
Right.
rep buy-in to, I mean, the fact that it's front squats, I only say because I'm terrible at them. I would have much rather been an overhead squat, even at these weights. And that whole buy-in of just total mess up of everything you need to be good at front squats. And then that's where you're going to really see who made the good choice, who's willing to put themselves in a bad spot. It's a Friday night event, which I think will be exciting. I think this is it's going to be one of those slow burn races to the last 50 front squats, and then you're just going to see fireworks.
Every single one of those movements gets harder as it increases from step 1
Because
to
of the
2 to
previous
3 to
thing
4. I
before.
know. But yeah, it's going to be that last 100 reps is going to be so fun to watch.
Yeah, and like we had awesome testers on site and really, really different kinds of fitness, different fitness levels, different weaknesses, and that was by design, of course. And like, we had 2 that finished it in testing it, 2 that didn't. And I knew Colton couldn't come to the East, and I knew if he were to do this workout in a competition setting, he would be someone that people would bet on because, yeah, he's probably a little bit up behind on the bike, maybe by a little, maybe he's a little bit behind on the toes to bar. But I'm telling you what, the burpees and the front squat are what really matter, and there isn't anyone I can think of that can go faster on those 2 back-to-back movements. And when he tested it and he sent me splits, I'm like, this is it, because it was like 541, 512, 545, and then like 502. It was like if I put the bike anywhere else, it can really skew the bike bad.
Mm-hmm.
So the bike needs to be first. Okay, well, what needs to come before that? The burpees need to go here? Do they need to go here? Do we need to end on burpees? Is that too much of a slog? Do we want to let people hold on? Yes, we need to put the squats at the end. But like, burpees and squats are the workout. And we're just gonna know too from early on, like you can want to go faster on Isabel. You just can or you can't. You can probably hold on for another few squats, but do you want to? Like it's a lightweight. And I think usually we see weightlifting, it needs to matter. Like, well, the weightlifting needs to matter. Well, it can matter without it being really heavy. So in this workout, I think people will come back from it saying, all about the burpees for me or all about the squats for me. Either way, everyone's going over 20 minutes. And we're going to know who's got a tank. And we can know that not going on a 5K run or not rowing a 10K or whatever,
I like that.
Yeah.
JR, do you feel comfortable saying your time?
Yeah, sure.
So for people who don't know, JR did just win the Open, so he does have a decent engine on him for the 40 to 44 or 45, 49.
Good. He just turned 40, bro.
Okay, 40, 44. He transcends age. I don't know, but anyway, just won the Open. I know they're all cardio workouts, but this is an engine workout if I've ever seen one. Go ahead and say your time, JR.
24:51.
Is this true?
Barely made the time cap.
Yeah, barely. And I did 19 squat cleans and didn't fail one. So I did one set of 10, and then I did 19 sets of 5. And I'm going to tell you, I've talked to a lot of athletes who tested it that are a lot better than me, and a lot of them are doing 5s at the end of that.
Dang.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, I think 115 and 85 is correct. I really care about balancing the sexes as far as like time domains and even stimulus goes. That's something that I'm really big about, and some programmers aren't, and they don't compete against each other, so who cares? But it's really important to me not to be like, well, for the girls, it was a burpee workout. For the guys, it was a squatting workout. I think these weights are correct, but I still think the females will be able to hang on for bigger chunks with 85.
This is blasphemous.
Well, I cannot wait to see this one in action. So, all right. The one that got, I don't know, like the one that people, this is the favorite one for people to talk about because they totally expose themselves in the issues that they may have with this event. So it's yoke repeater, 4 rounds, 4-meter run, 40-foot yoke carry, 425 and 305. What's on the yoke to get that? Is that empty yoke? I can't. No, it's not empty.
No.
So,
You're
no,
180 pounds.
So we've got the red yokes, which is cool, and those weigh 245 empty. So if you look up the weights for Midline Madness, which is obviously what this is based on, the weights that you find are incorrect in a lot of places. I think I saw a 380 and a 300, but these yokes are 245. So the men will have 45s and the women will have 15s.
Okay.
And I think the year they did that at the games, they had 45s and 25s. So it was 425, 345 for the females.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, again, tip of the cap to there is like now you are testing running at a high volume, 2 miles of it.
Say that again, Chase. Say that again, Chase. What am
So
I?
you were
testing? What are we
testing running.
Okay.
Because running is absolutely tested at the CrossFit Games. Now, you're not just isolating running to do that. However, in the test to get to the games, to find the fittest person on earth, running is an essential part of overall fitness, as we know and love through the CrossFit training methodology. And with this running test, the interference of the yoke, I feel like that was a fine needle to thread, either trying to get the right distance or the right weight. How much did you look at Midline Madness? Obviously, you've looked at it a bit, and landing on the weights that you did, or even the rounds, right? It could have been 4 rounds, 800 in a long, like double everything, but half the rounds. Like, how did you land on this specifically?
Yeah, that's a great question. And in testing, this is one of my favorite ones to watch, even though it's for a lot of people probably the most boring to watch. The workout was originally 10 rounds of 300-meter run, 40-foot yoke. So even faster, like Angelo, Lindsay, Molly, Taylor, they were holding, like minute to minute 15 runs and then 8 to 10 seconds of yoke. So the turnover was really fast. And I really wanted to test some hard running repeats, right? I could test a 2-mile run. That is not the same pacing as a workout like this, whether it's 300s or 400s. There's something about that stopping, getting something really heavy just on your skeleton and getting it off of you as fast as you can, and knowing my heart rate's never going to be higher than it's going to be as soon as I put that thing down. So like even the rogue workout last year, like I was one of those people that was like, hey, they ran with a vest, they ran without a vest, they did these sandbag things. And I was like, that it grew on me, right? As I watched it and as I thought about it, because of the time under tension that went into it. But ultimately, the decision you have to make is this. What is the workout testing? Okay, if you want to test running, you can do it a lot of different ways, but the running needs to matter. The running needs to matter as much as the barbell matters in Isabel. As much as the handstand walk matters in athletes only. If someone has a hole in their strength, they need to be exposed. If someone has a hole in their running, they need to be exposed. If someone has a hole in their gymnastics, they need to be exposed. This is what we are here for. I think my task is to find weaknesses and not just to make every single movement matter equally. And I think different stages of the season, you can make that argument. In this workout, making the yoke heavier only gives you a reason or an excuse to run slower. I'll say that again. The yoke being heavier only lets you run slower. And that is not what we need to do. That's not what we need to do.
Amen.
You're up there playing the piano, Chase.
And that's where I was alluding to the fact, because I've seen comments of it's like, oh, the yoke needs to be heavier. Why? Why do you think it needs to be heavier? Because you suck at running and you want something to offset.
I don't think the yoke needs to be heavier.
No, it doesn't need to be heavier because it's not a yoke event. You have heavy, Isabel. You have a high volume test, and now we're testing running capacity. And there's a reason why it's broken up like this versus, as JR said, just a straight 2-mile run. because you pace a 2-mile run. You can't pace this. You have to push the pace the whole time. You have to sprint for the yoke. And if you're not strong enough to sprint with the yoke under fatigue, you are getting tested in that sense.
Yeah,
It's
one of the things too. I mean, in gut clearly it is a running workout. The running matters a lot more than the yoke. But what the yoke will do, I'm confident, is it will let the people who are stronger, who are more aggressive, it will let them make up 2-3 seconds per round that they might lose again on the run.
Mhm.
It will also separate the runners from the great runners. So like in just a run, if you're pacing, you're like, well, I can hold a 6 minute. Okay, well, I can hold a 5:50. Okay, cool. When you do it like this, it will separate those athletes out much more, because the level of confidence you have of, hey, I'm going to run hard until I get into the building. And then those 50 meters is the only time when I'm running around the competition floor. That's the only time I'm throttling, and I'm only throttling so that I can attack the yoke. And as soon as I hit the bay doors again, I'm running hard. Like, there are people, not that many people can approach this workout in that way because it's too long. Right? Normally we see a 15 to 20 minute workout, and that's the long. But we always think it's okay to see 2 or 3 workouts sub 8, or we think it's okay to see 2 or 3 workouts 8 to 12. Why can't we see 2 over 15 minutes? So that's another personal thing. I'm like, you know what? We can have 2 workouts over 15 minutes. It's fine.
What was the event? You're saying it's like it separates the good runners from the great runners, right? There's events we've seen program where they tweaked some type of thing, whether it was a weight implement used, or say the swim event in Madison where they gave the athletes fins.
Yes.
Right. And it's like, you didn't help the shitty swimmers.
Made it
You
worse.
hindered them, and you made the good swimmers even better than. So it separated the field even more based off just swimming ability. Where here, as you said, is like, you could be a great runner all day, but the impact on the legs just enough on that yoke is really going to determine your intensity on the next run, and then on the next run, because you'll just have enough time to feel this event during those 40 feet on the yoke carry. Because everyone thinks they're going to be in their head for the run. I was like, I bet there's more brain things going on in that 40-foot yoke carry about your event and how it's going than the 400-meter run.
Yeah, and again, too, like I have strong opinions on programming, and when I see workouts, and dang, I mean, I'll use TFX for an example. Like, I wondered if the handstand walk was going to be relevant in the gymnastics workout. That was by far my favorite workout of the weekend. I watched that and I was like, this was perfect. This was awesome. How people got through the pulling reps was what really mattered. We rarely see regression programming. It's usually progression. It was just really, really good. And I was wrong, because I was like, I wonder if the handstand walk is really, I just wonder if it's just a transition thing or if it's going to matter. It was awesome. It was great. So I think, while some people might watch it and still say, well, yeah, the best runners will win. They will. But at the top, at the people that want to go to the games, the yoke will matter and will, I think, separate them.
You know what's really crazy is this is so similar to the 800-meter run, clean and jerk semi-event from last year, from 2024. And everyone talked about how that one was going to be the running and how it actually really turned into how you handled the barbell. And this, I think, is just on the other side of the line, where because we're running 400s, you are going to be running faster. And you really aren't getting that reprieve. When we talked about that, how fast do you get under that bar, and how fast are the under the yoke, and how fast do you move it to be able to get right into that next 400-meter run, where there is no chance. Like when you're cycling the barbell, you have a moment where you can step back for a second and be like, all right, now let me hit my next couple. You don't have that opportunity on this one. You have to run the 400s fast, and the pace will be faster than the 800s for sure. And if you really want to get a good score in this run, you have to go immediately from the run, be right under the yoke, put it down, and immediately be right off again. So like the intensity, like it's really a pressure cooker. It looks like a long run event, but it's a pressure cooker way more than I think people are going to be ready for.
Yeah. I mean, a couple people have have asked me, who aren't even competing, have asked me about pacing. And they're like, I never use a yoke in this way, right? I always use it in like strongman type stuff or like in a back nine type setting where it's just really like a lot of grunt, like a lot of grunt work and kind of brute strength. How would you recommend pacing? And I said, there is no pace on this workout, man. There really isn't. Like you're going to get what you earn. And that is going to be based on just how long can you tolerate running at a sub maximal threshold, like, and not blow up. Like, I think the people who are willing to do that are going to do the best. And yeah, I think it's going to be the best runners. But I think there's, like you guys said, every round almost starts a new workout in that way, right? There's so much interference there, and it's so short that there isn't time to, okay, cool, I can catch my breath here. No, there is no catching your breath. It's actually you're gonna just be hurting more and more and more and more as you go. That's just how it's gonna go.
I love it. All right, event 4, Metal March. I got to read these out because I guess Seema's driving. So Seema, focus on the road. Okay, 2-2-2-3 interval, 1 minute rest in between. Each interval buy-in is a 50 or 40 Rogue Pro double under. Then a 4-3 cut rope climb. So cut ropes are coming back. And then max distance in the time remaining of dual kettlebell overhead walking lunges until, thank you, JR, 240 feet have been covered by the athletes. And so there's a lot to unpack here as far as a lot of homages. You've got the 2-2-2-3 interval. You've got the 1 minute break. Got the rope climb buy-in. You've got the cut ropes that we haven't seen since, gosh, is it the 2017 Chipper at regional?
Yeah, so 2017 was the overhead walking lunge, double under, heavy wall ball, cut rope, and then back down. And then was the cut rope in the soccer chipper the year before?
It was in the climbing snail.
Okay.
Yeah. Climbing snail, not soccer chipper.
Yeah,
and then the dual kettlebell overhead walking lunges, which is a Fibonacci final tip of the cap. Now, we talked about Heavy Isabel being at other events. We've seen this interval thing at other events. Now, what's different there is that nobody did a little handshake deal behind the scenes. It's like, hey, we should all program an interval-based max thing. Our biggest problem with some of these has been there is no finish line. Has one of them been a finish line, or is it Torian that has their own finish line going on the same time?
Yeah, Torian I think is 3 on 1 off with a 4-round cap, but it is for us. I think it's for like 45 burpee box jump overs, maybe, or 50.
Maybe 50.
It's set up a bit different.
But there's a finish line is the point there. And so what I'm not going to ask you 2 questions, but we talked about proving who the good programmers are. Is that getting a finish line number of reps or distance to cover or whatever in an interval-based workout where that's the intent is not an easy thing to do. That requires good programming. That requires a lot of testing. And when you don't do that, I consider it lazy programming or non-existent testing because all right, just do as many as you can, right? But seeing interval-based events get thrown out there, was that starting to bother you, like seeing Heavy Isabel up into this weekend? And then how did you set that line for your distance for the event?
Yeah, I've done like 2 on 1 off formats for a goal, but never done the 3 at the end, like in an actual competition I've programmed. And I really wanted to try to do it from that standpoint, right? From a challenging standpoint. And truth be told, like in the athletes that were there at testing, and Bryson can all attest to this, I did not want anyone to be able to do it in 3. I wanted everyone to have to deal with those 200 and 160 heavy double unders, 16 and 12 rope climbs, 240 feet, right? And I knew some people wouldn't finish it, right? I knew that. So not everyone will feel all the reps, but that's pretty normal. Not everyone will finish the hundreds either, right? So some people may be getting 60 squats and not 100 in. But in testing, watching Angelo and Taylor do it, that are both extremely proficient on any kind of rope climb, but also have really good grip endurance. Because what I think it is a grip test. And a lot of people will not be exposed based on their upper body pulling. They would just be exposed on their muscular endurance or muscular stamina in that just energy system, or, whatever you want to call it. I had to concede, though. Like, we measured it yesterday. I got up on a ladder. I said, I'm settling this for like once and for all.
Are we talking about the rope heights?
The ropes, that the rope climb, and John and Bill will know this, is 1310. So what they will be touching is 13 feet 10 inches off of the Dolomer. So in testing, they went to a true 15 feet. That was my bad. Like, I should have accounted for that and just had them do 14-foot climbs. Taylor was really close in doing it in 3 in testing, but he didn't. I think he will do it on site in 3 for Kill Taylor. And I do think that some men will finish in 3. I do think it's possible for 1 or 2 women to finish in 3, but I think it will be harder for them. But yeah, like, this was the most tested workout by far. We adjusted the double under number because the Rogue Pro rope weighs the same, guys. It is a weight in your hands. So it does affect the women a little bit more. And typically upper body pulling, whether it's strict or not strict, this is kind of a pseudo, legless and not legless type rope climb. But in general, I think the workout will be harder for females. I think there will probably be more separation on the female side. And I do think that there's going to be some people that don't meet the minimum work requirement. That decision was made so that there would be no possibility to game it. I could have just done total reps as well. But I think people would still just be like, hey, I'm not going to crush myself for what's coming up tomorrow. So I'll just keep failing these double unders and just take the less rope climb approach. You know what I mean?
Now, expand on Kill Taylor, because we talked about John Young battling out with Heavy Isabel with the masses for $500. What's on the line for Kill Taylor?
Yeah, so before the elite heats go, Taylor will be going up against hopefully a full heat of 9 other athletes, and they'll be doing Medal March for Kill Taylor for $500 as well. So
It's true.
He's not competing anymore, but he's still super fit, and he is someone that I think if they were in this field, people have watched him do rope climb or any other kind of upper body pulling or drag rope double under, heavy double under workouts, and seen him go overhead enough that they should know he would be an absolute menace on this workout if he were in this field, and probably be the favorite to win it. So I think that everyone who's competing, not just for the entertainment value, but for the knowledge, should watch and should be pacing off of him if you're that guy or that girl. If you're not, you should not be going off of him.
Now, I want to give a shout out to Sam DeMeester. I think he's the only guy doing both of them.
Nice.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
like he's going to do Kill Taylor.
He's
and
doing
then
the JY Barbell Challenge, and he's also doing Kill Taylor.
Oh, that's cool. And there's one more, right?
There's one more. Yeah, we need to talk him into the trifecta.
I believe he probably, I don't think it'd be hard to talk him into that. But
So yeah, I mean, it's a personal bias in my approach. I want people to know what's being tested, right? And it's easy to just say, well, fitness is being tested. I want to make it a little bit more specific than that. So you need to be able to go heavy, high technicality in workout 1. You need to be able to go long with high volume in workout 2. You need to be able to run in workout 3. And workout 4, you need to have good grip and pulling. So it's clear, hey, I'm checking these boxes. Do you have them or do you not? And if you don't, I think it needs to be found and it needs to be exposed.
I love it. How much testing did you have to do or I tell you, tell us why you think having a finish number is so important to an event like this.
So I think if this workout were to be an AMRAP, like a true AMRAP, 2223, and you're someone like Taylor, all right, and you can win the workout, and you're like, man, I'm probably going to be lunging like over 300 feet. There's a lot of legs in this competition, and it's easy to overlook it because of the amount of mandated squatting. But the 100 front squats, the pulling from the floor in Isabel, right? It's a little bit more power based. You still got 30 high box jump overs, like higher than has ever been done in this stage of competition. You still got double unders. You still got the sandbag work. There's a lot of legs here, a lot. And if you're someone like Taylor and you know you're going to be lunging over 300 feet, and let's just say that the other guy that's in contention, this is their worst finish, and they only lunge 100 feet. That's a substantial amount that he's not having to deal with both athletes in contention. So yes, I think from a programming standpoint, it's a lot more challenging. I think there's a lot more strategy. I think there's a lot more like, should I take the bait? Should I see if I can go 120 feet? Should I just not use my legs on the first round? Rip the 50, do 4 legless as fast as I can, and just try to eat up half of my lunge and be like, you know what? In 2 more intervals, I can get 120 feet and finish it. So I think just dangling that carrot, especially if it's done in a way where it's like just out of reach or just in reach, it adds a lot more drama to the story.
I think that's more important than getting then actually having like a final destination in the event, is getting that number right so that you entice everyone who has a shot to try to do it in 3.
The carrot is the most important.
Yes, it is the most important part about having a finish line like this, because otherwise people just sit there and pace things out, and there's no real drama, ebbs and flows until the last round. We're like, all right, everybody's doing it for max reps here at the end. Of course, we're going to get excited about that, but I think having a final, like I said, finish line makes it more important the entire time through. So thank you. Thank you for doing that. All right, Sunday, start things off. I can't wait to watch this one take place. So
I think this is the one where the most separation is going to be seen.
Ooh, okay. So you got 30, 24, 18, 12, 6 of GHD sit-ups. After each one of those, you do a 30-foot handstand walk obstacle into a box jump over 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. The box jump over height is 42 and 36. Now, this isn't hands-on, right? This is jump on, hop off.
Correct. Standard? The hands cannot touch at any time. It is a true box jump.
Think chaos. Like it's the same height as chaos.
Got it. Yep. And then a 30-foot handstand walk. So basically it's GHD sit-up, obstacle course, handstand walk, box jump over, obstacle course, handstand walk. And then you just drop the reps, but the distance on that obstacle course handstand walk stays the same.
Right. And yeah, this is when the decision comes in for like, hey, I want to get upside down. Do I want to get upside down twice? Do I want to do handstand push-ups and a hand balancing movement? Which do I think is more important leading up to the games? What have they tested at the games almost every single year, like since 2018? We already have overhead walk and lunge. We already have snatches. Do we have enough shoulders? Do we have enough overhead? If I program both, does it tip the scales a little too much to the pressing? So ultimately, something's going to get left out whenever you program, because with 6 events, you can't program every single movement unless you don't want to do couplets and triplets, which is not the answer, I think. So knowing what's come before, knowing what's been tested, I knew that we needed some shoulder stamina, period. And I knew that the gymnastics movement needed to be the linchpin. The GHD sit-ups, there's 90 of them. But while I said there's a lot of legs in the competition, there's a lot of midline. And that's a personal bias for sure over the years. Like the midline is just going to get hit. And the midline, I think the midline is the most important thing to be durable when you get to the games. I think that holds everything together. So posterior and anterior. So you got toes to bar, you got GHD sit up, you got yoke carry, you got heavy bag work. There's a lot of midline, and this is only 90 GHDs, but it doesn't need to be any more. The thing that's going to separate is going to be the skill, and the box jump overs again. Can I get the midline and hip flexors tax just a little bit more?
Yeah,
jacked up a little bit more. You land on a tall box like that, no one is landing not in the bottom of a squat. Like everyone is landing in the bottom of a squat, and they're crunching to get over. So I think the volume is right for what needs to be tested. What I really like about the workout from a programming standpoint is the format that it's descending. Not only does it push the intensity for those that can race, but it also lets the ones that can't race play early. Meaning there's a lot more time in between the handstand walk passes early in the workout where some people just may not be great at that skill. And then at the end, it is nothing but ramp and stairs, which is like going to be good for the race because I'm getting on for 6. That's pointless. So I'm basically going stair ramp, 12 seconds of GHDs right back to ramp. Can I do that, or do I have to sit there and wait?
Now, is it ramp to the finish line, or is it a box jump?
It is
done?
No. They're doing that last handstand walk, so it'll be a handstand walk to finish.
Oh,
Now, is
man,
it
pressure.
stair ramp combo, or is like one ramp, one stair? How is it set up?
So the obstacle is just the transition between the box and the GHD. So they'll go ramp, stair, box, stair, ramp, GHD.
It's like Crash Crucible with the ski and the GHDs. That if you remember that workout.
Got it.
Is this true?
I love this one. I like the way it's set up. I love just like you said, the mix match of taxing the core in different ways to keep things stable. Having that fatigue core. And here's the thing, like 90 GC sit-ups in the grand scheme of things of who we're testing for and who we're trying to send to the crowd is nothing. However, how fast they're going to have to burn through those is which I think will surprise some people, because they can't just casually do, like if it was just like 25 every round and there was no change, it's like, oh, 125, that's solid. But they would just do those. But the fact that it descends, it's only 90, like they're going to have to crank the ever living stuff out of that.
Totally. Yeah, they're gonna have
the ones that don't want to be back on the ramp will do what you're saying. They'll try to use it as their recovery and just go slow and smooth. But they're not the ones that matter. The ones that matter have to go fast on the.
Can someone tell us that Hiller is in the chat?
Is this true?
And last thing, Chase, I think is really important. There's a lot of competitions that do this, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it, especially competitions where I feel like the goal is to program workouts where all the movements matter as close to the same as possible. And I think there's an art to that, and I think it's good to do that. This competition shapes out not to be programmed that way and a little bit more specific with what's being tested. First workout of day 1, single modality. First workout of day 2, as close to single modality as it gets. First movement of day 3, GGG, all gymnastics, no weightlifting. So I think that while single modality is a polarizing discussion, like Taylor, for one, like we talk about it all the time, he doesn't think there's any place for it unless we're at the games, right? It should be CrossFit. It should be couplets, triplets, quartets, chippers, stuff like that. That's kind of what I've done here is I've really kind of like compartmentalize the modalities for each day as the first workout. And I think like a workout without weightlifting is great, but I don't think everyone needs to do it. Like, but I think that if it fits, like we talked about, Heavy Isabel was the flagship workout. I'm like, hey, if I'm going to do that, I got to have one where really just the monostructural matters. And I need to have one that's just like, it's all body weight.
The cool thing there too, is that on day 1, it's a single movement. Mm-hmm. On day 2, it's 2. And on day 3, it's 3.
Right.
I like that. I like that a lot. I can't wait to see this one.
This one is an interesting time cap, because some will get capped, some will just want to finish into the cap, and some will go sub 8. Like, it will be a crazy spread of times.
Steven Tackett asked what the GHD standard will be going into this weekend.
Yeah, you can actually scroll down and see that, Chase. If is that just a picture that you have?
That's just a picture, but
okay.
I can.
So yeah, the standard on the GHD is buttocks must remain on the side of the pad opposite the foot pad for the entirety of the movement.
Ooh,
so, I like that, dude.
So think about the imaginary dotted line, right? Not hip, because of what is it? Iliac crest? Is it?
Oh,
like
it's
a-
in
what-
bold
what-
too.
So it's buttocks, right? It is like, hey, your butt, unless you're really old school, like your Adrian Conway, right? And he would have hamstrings on the pad and win the 4 or 5 deadlift
Yeah.
workout, right? Like I wish everyone did it like Adrian, but they don't. So unless you're him, it's a kind of a moot point because your buttocks aren't on the pad. But yeah, everyone knows what the buttocks is. If it ever comes to the other side of that line toward the foot pad, it's no rep.
Easy.
Should be. We'll see.
Should be. I like it. About time someone standardize a bit more.
Do you think Kale's buttocks can reach to the other side though?
They have the peg holes in there.
Yeah, well, the foot
They'll be
things
all right.
also can move back,
Yeah.
so for sure. Yeah,
Can
for
be
sure.
more.
All right, JR. Getting final events right is a huge point of contention. It's challenging to do without just a simple, it's like, all right, here's a sprint, go sprint. Here's this, I'm not saying like the bike muscle up one. I like the bike muscle up event. I love that. That was great. But getting something fast, however, you did something near and dear to my heart, is that taking a classic rep scheme of 21-15-9 in CrossFit and turning that into something unique format-wise, and the fact that you've got a monostructural, weightlifting, and gymnastics in all three, like this chipper itself is at to finish things off. Yet every piece in here matters in a different way, whether it's going to launch you ahead of the pack early or decimate you maybe in the middle. Like how many iterations did you go through for this one to feel like you finally got it right?
Yeah, I mean, I would say Wilson had more influence and feedback, and maybe just challenge is a good word. Like
Is
he'd
this
be like,
true?
did you think about this? Did you think about this? Like, and it's just so ironic, right? Because everyone does ring muscle up these days. Everyone does ring muscle up, and for some reason this year, everyone wanted to do bar, and I was one of those people. It's like, hey, everyone does ring, and I had this as ring. It was like very similar to last year. It was like row, muscle up, sandbag clean to finish, like a 33-21-11 or 33-22-11 or 44-22-11 or 30-20-10 or 27-15-9 or something, like whatever. Like I played with different rep schemes, and Wilson was like, you should do bar, man. No one does bar anymore. It's like we do in the open and everyone does ring. I was like, you know what? You're right. And so this workout was written that 9-15-21, 15-9 as just bar. And it was a really good workout in testing. It's the version that all those people tested on site. But I knew going into the workout, all right, let me look at what I've got, right? I've got 2 workouts where, let's just call them endurance tests, right? The hundreds and the yoke.
Yeah.
I've got two workouts where it's pretty clear that the gymnastics movement is going to separate, right? So the rope climb and the handstand walk. I've got one where I know is very weightlifting dominant. I probably need to revisit strength in a different capacity. And instead of it being very technical, maybe just make it very brute strength. And so that's why I was like, hey, the sandbag goes really well here. I need the other movements to matter, but I don't need to steal the shine away from the sandbag. I don't need someone to be able to hide that they're not good at the sandbag clean because they are so good at the muscle ups. And I don't need someone to pull away on the sandbag and the rower because there's so much rowing that they can just break the muscle ups up a lot and they don't get punished for being bad at the muscle ups, right? So there are layers to this workout, like you kind of mentioned in the beginning, where at the end of the day, the sandbag matters the most. And if you're not good at it, it doesn't matter how good you are at muscle ups. You're not gonna be able to overcome that deficiency with the bag. If you are good at the bag, can you go unbroken on the rings? If you can you go unbroken on the bar? And then finally, if there isn't any separation, if you're kind of equal with somebody on the bag and you're kind of equal with somebody on the muscle ups, how hard are you willing to row to still be able to go unbroken on the bar muscle ups and go fast on the last 9 sandbag cleans? So yeah, I get it. Like the Echo rower makes its debut. They're only on it for about a minute to a minute 30 seconds. It's kind of a tease, but also like in testing, no one rode under a minute.
Ooh.
And Alex Kazan tested it, Colton tested it, Taylor tested it, like people who are awesome at muscle ups. So
Wow.
yeah.
No one I mean, that's a 1,200 cal per hour pace.
Correct.
And wow. You think that was okay? So, and there's the question is like, because you have 15 or 12 ring muscle ups at the first half of the pyramid chipper.
Right.
And then you go to the bar. And arguably say is like, all right, the bar will be easier on the back half than say the rings. All right, well then the rings are there. Like 15 and 12 at this point in time after the 9 sandbag cleans is not just a foregone conclusion for everybody at the end of the weekend. And now you got to get to the rower, which is even more pulling. It's like, all right, how much confidence do I have in myself on the bar or on the rig to just knock out 15? Because if you break there, you're either breaking from usually just fatigue, but it could be grip and pulling fatigue. Good luck doing the cleans at the end. You just got to sit there and row in just kind of, like we said, that the loud noise in the middle of an event, and it happens to be on a rower.
Yeah, so like the only thing that's separating 30 and 24 ring muscle ups is a minute to a minute and a half on the rower. Like, good luck. You can either do it faster or you can do it slower, but those muscle ups are still there waiting for you. So it's the reason why I think Alex, Taylor, Colton, the reason why they're rowing 1200s is because they are fit enough that at that point in the workout, they are already hurting. Like they are riding that line of, I can only row as hard as I can because I have to do these muscle ups unbroken. And for all of them, especially Taylor, because he did 15 out of the 18 touch and go, can I still grab the bag and go touch and go at the end, or at least do quick singles? Because unless I'm just completely wrong, they're going to be similar to that lunge finish last year, which I think was one of the best programmed workouts I've ever seen at that level of competition.
Yeah.
As far as drama goes, I think we'll get the same kind of drama with the sandbag clean because there is a carry involved. There is an opportunity to go touch and go and carry. They're going to do 3 carry, 3 carry, 3, and then finish. A lot of people think that touch and goes is silly, and I think they're silly because I can tell you right now, you start out that workout, even doing 6 touch and go, you're a minute ahead of someone doing singles next to you. A minute.
Dang.
Is this true?
Like, think about the cycle rate watching people at Rogue do that finale when they got to the last bag and second to last bag.
Yeah.
Like, if you know you're that guy, like I would say Taylor knows that, right? And you know the muscle ups are not going to be an issue. If you can touch and go, you do, because you know that's a cushion that you cannot manufacture anywhere else in the workout. Anywhere else.
Did anybody in testing do touch and go unbroken on the last 9?
Taylor tried and he failed.
Taylor did 6 and carried, and then on the last quadrant he did 3.
Dang.
And I think Colton did 9 on the front half. And then on the back half, I think maybe he did 3 and then 6 singles. And then Alex did 9 on the front half and all singles on the back half.
Dang.
Man, that line, that red
Angelo
line
too.
is going to be
Angelo
so.
too. Angelo
It's
too.
going to
He
be.
did touch and go on the front half.
It's going to be so interesting to watch everyone because they're going to be in such the hurt locker and just to see who can take it.
Yeah.
Like, how bad do you want to be? Like, depending on what the race is looking like, how bad do you want to get to the games?
It's going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
That
we're going to
gamble's
see
gonna
people
be
get to
crazy.
failure
That's what I mean,
on the
absolutely.
sandbag, and then there's just going to be like this stare down of who can get this freaking bag
Yeah.
up. And like JR said, Taylor and Alex Kazan were feeling lactic, like you would like an acid bath where you just can't move your anything. You get to that point, and then you have to do a sandbag clean. Like, that's not light, bro. Like we're gonna see.
That's what I mean.
Carnage.
It's gonna be raw carnage at the
I
end
hope
of
so.
that, and it's gonna be beautiful. And the way that it was built, the way you built it to do that, to elicit that, to where they know they can do it. Now it's how bad do they want to do that? How bad do you want to hurt?
Yeah.
God, that's gonna be so fun to
And-
watch.
and-
Oh my
and-
gosh.
And while I know that the first 3 workouts are not the most exciting thing in the world, I'm really confident that the last 3 are all really, really, really fun to watch, especially the last day. And the last day is the shortest ones too. Like John said, he thinks the handstand walk is going to cause the most separation. My only hesitation is this finale, because I do think there's such a difference when you're moving an odd object for the bigger athlete, especially if they're good at muscle ups. They can just move it almost easier than they can move a heavy barbell, because there's more technique involved with the barbell. And sometimes the smaller statured athletes just have amazing technique. But
Yeah.
this movement is such raw strength that, like, I think that there are going to be people that go sub 5, and I think there are going to be people that like get close to the 9-minute cap. And like, that is massive separation on a workout. The question is, like on the handstand walk, like on the rope climb, like on the running workout, is your lowest finish compared to the field, is it a finish low enough to keep you out of the games? So I think in a lot of ways, the way that this programming is done, it may come down at the end of the competition to whose worst finish is the worst.
But shout out to the event name, by the way. Bag 9. It's fantastic.
I think
Yeah,
it should be called the Raper.
I tried to bait people a little bit, and like reading some of the workout predictions was one of the coolest parts about this whole process. I really had fun. People wrote some awesome workouts. Like some people just wrote 4-3-2, like, you know, sandbag clean plus a carry at like whatever 200, 225, 250. Like there were some really cool like workout ideas, but what I was trying to convey is that the workout is the back 9, is the last sandbag cleans. Like that's what really matters, is like, can you close the deal? Because whatever you do up to that point, like you just don't really know. Kind of like last year, right? Crush the bite, get off the rings, get halfway on the lunge, but all that really mattered was that last half on the lunge.
So good. I can't wait. What was the special event for Sunday? I forgot to ask.
Athletes only. Yeah.
Athletes
so
only.
the handstand walk workout. Yeah.
Oh yes. And what are you guys doing for that one?
So Austin Hatfield will be doing that one. He actually texted me yesterday and he said, "Is it just a get over?" And I said, "No." I said no hands. And he like sent me a training workout that he was doing as like prep for it. So he's trying to win $500. So yeah, he'll be there doing it. There's a couple other games athletes. I know Angelo and Lindsay are planning on doing it. I think Taylor's planning on doing it too. So I mean, there's gonna be a cool heat to watch.
And John, who do we need to convince to do a third event?
Sam Demeester, Mayhem Team Games athlete.
Okay.
Which he might really signed up. He just told me he was the only guy doing them both.
And where can they register for that?
So you could go on compete at syndicate, I believe.com. But now if you're interested, DM me or text me, and I'll reach out to Wilson and he'll get you kind of signed up manually or send you an invite. That way it's a little bit faster. Because we just need people to sign waivers and stuff like that.
Is this the page right here?
I think so. I'm just not sure if you can get to the challenges off of that page.
Okay. Twist my. Oh, hey! Look at that. That's awesome. I love that. I love that there's once a day. I love that. JR, I am really excited to see the programming come alive with the athletes. I think there's one thing to do it obviously written on paper. There's one thing to talk about it on a podcast, even post. We always analyze post events because what the athletes do with the programming is a part of how we analyze it, because we can sit here and big picture it and idea it all day, who we think is going to win, who we think will do well, who we think will do poorly. And the athletes never cease to surprise us when they get their hands on the event. So I can't wait to see it in action. I wish I was there. Definitely got some FOMO because I will be the only one that will not be there, apparently.
Is this true?
It is true. I won't be there. But I will get to spend some time with family. But before we bounce, John, you had a grid match,
I did. Yes.
or you played grid. What's
Yes.
the right?
No, you got it. It's a match.
Yeah?
So
Okay.
each little thing is a race. I would say an event in CrossFit terms is a race. And then the full thing is a match. So didn't go great. Or our team got smacked. I'm not mad at my part. I feel like I did decent for myself.
Oh, you
but,
did.
It
Okay.
was just a lot of like rookie mistakes and just stuff like that. But and the team we were against is should be one of the top 2 teams. Like might go to the championship. But
Nice.
hopefully we pull it together and we're a bit better. But it's very professionally ran. I don't know if you've ever like been to one or watched one, but it's one of the most professionally ran things I've ever seen. And like Vendor Village, like it's at the Miami Fitness Expo. This one, they always do it at Fitness Expo.
Mhm.
It's like nicer than Rogue's Vendor Village is. Like there's so much shopping, so much like different types of people.
Oh,
too.
because it's like an expo.
Yeah, there's like a bodybuilding
Right.
competition, a powerlifting
Yeah.
competition, and then we're just one of the sideshows that it has, right? I don't know if all of them are like that. But that's the one this one was like.
When is
No,
the
really
Dallas
fun.
one? Because I need to come watch you.
Dallas is July 12th and 13th.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll come support.
Yeah.
JR, how many steps did you get during this podcast? Because I feel like you've walked 6 miles this entire show.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like inside the venue, people are still working like crazy. I mean, the amount that's gone into it has been wild. But they always play music, right? Because it don't wait in silence. I'm like, okay, let me get out of here. I don't want that to be distracting. So then I walked outside, and Wilson was giving like the vendors a tour. So then I was talking over him, and then I moved again, and like someone started a weed eater, and then I moved again, and you could hear nothing but 18-wheelers, and I was like, now I'm in the parking deck. So,
I would love to just see like the JR tracker while he was. It's funny. I'd rather you be walking around like that than the podcast where you see the person's walking on some like step treadmill the entire time. I can't stand.
oh yeah, right.
I can't stand that. But JR, I'm super excited for you. I can't wait to watch the broadcast. And the broadcast will be put on by the Savant Podcast and crew, which will start. Is there a pre-show? Is there a show tonight? To
I have a
preview all that?
I think
Is Spin on tonight, John?
Sorry. Yes. We're gonna make our syndicate predictions. I think we're gonna do top 10. We're gonna run through
Hey,
heat 1, all those props.
can you if you guys do Torian, has anyone heard if that farmer's carry is like 200 pounds per handle? Is it the trap bar that you can like pick up and walk with? Like, does anyone know what that finale is yet?
I believe it's like actual farmer carry handles, and it's 200 pounds per hand. But do not quote me on that. I'll investigate and ask Spin. That's my investigation. Asking Spin to investigate.
That's where my mind is always on, like that kind of like I think their programming was awesome coming up this weekend too. So I mean, I assume you guys gonna do Far East and Rebel and Torian? Like, are you just gonna do it in the next few weeks, Chase and Bill?
This is blasphemous.
What? Like previewing or a
Yeah,
post?
like those other three. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. No, we're not going to do that. Yeah, we'll post pro it. Yeah, we'll
Like
post.
you'll review it. Gotcha.
We'll analyze all 4.
Gotcha.
In one
Just don't have the
show.
time to do all the
You like
previews with everything.
You like speed through them all.
No, we'll give them all their individual due. All right, because
I'm just
We'll
asking.
have time after
This is like
NCC.
content.
yeah, after NCCs, we had to do it before that. We can't.
I'm talking
No,
analyze. I'm talking
when is
analyze.
NCCs? Is that the next
Next weekend.
So
Yeah.
you guys are here, and then you're going.
They were in California. Yeah.
Wow,
So
John,
that-
how did you swing that?
What do you mean?
Are you
Yeah,
doing
seriously.
both? Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What I mean? You have a
I assume
newborn.
it's paid for. But if it's not paid for, I have not swung it. Because I just kind of show
Yeah.
up.
Welcome to
and
my
then
world.
we probably should get that figured out if I'm supposed to pay for it because I did not know that I was if I am.
Well, yeah. Wait, it's not, or is it?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to watch, and it'll all be on. Where will it be? Where will the broadcast be?
For NCC?
No, for both. For Syndicate.
Oh,
and
on what? I
on
think we'll be
YouTube, I assume. But
yeah.
Yes.
I
Um,
imagine will they let Spin run the broadcast on his too, or like are we going to be broadcasting it to a whole bunch of places, or is it just one single YouTube?
That's a Wilson question.
Do you know,
Or,
Jay? No,
yeah.
okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We're gonna get it to y'all.
Mm.
It's gonna get out.
Yeah,
there.
I know they're gonna do. I'm sure they're gonna do some test runs on Savage channel just to test equipment and stuff. Maybe as early as tonight because I think that's when a lot of them get here. And I'm sure they'll do. Like, who knows? They may say, "Hey, let's film the briefing tomorrow," and do that, or get Taylor and Bryson when athletes check in. They may want to stream that. Like, I really don't know, but nothing would surprise me.
well, I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to see it unfold. JR, you have earned this opportunity, and I can't wait to see how it shakes out.
Spin just said everything will be on the Savon channel.
All right, everything will be on the. Okay, thank you, Spin. As always, the Savantano Dents. Dents, are you driving and watching and texting all at the same time, young lady? Did I tell you that she walked right by me at TFX and just didn't even acknowledge my existence? It was,
No, dude, she was right in front of me during the snatch event. I didn't even know she was filming. Didn't say anything. I walked right over. That's where my people were, and she didn't say hi at all.
yeah. In fact, she looked at me and rolled her eyes too. That's
There's actually so the week after NorCal,
Is this true?
I
No,
have is my grid match in Tampa, and their captain, the team we're going against, is in the comments right now.
oh,
And
nice.
that's Kriesman. Shout
Nice.
out to her.
JR, just to make your skin crawl. I'll pull up. Even the dog hates this comment as much as anybody else. All right, gang. JR, good luck. Have fun. Boys, can't wait to watch you guys. And just watch out for that copyright music to shut down your stream for the entire week. So thank you guys for joining us. 344 of you guys. That is the JR and JY effect for sure. We hope you have a great time. And then shoot, Bill, when you travel tomorrow?
I leave Thursday afternoon. I'll get there late
What
Thursday.
time?
You know
Okay.
how I do it.
I'm leaving at 2. My flight's 2:45. Is your
I think I get in at like 10:30 or 10:40.
okay? So I'll be like a few hours before you then.
Yeah,
Probably.
Bill always gets
I,
his.
Is somebody picking us up, taking us to the place?
Sure, we'll figure that out.
Okay, I don't know anything.
Unprofessional.
I do know the athletes, but I've been doing homework. I do know the athletes, and how I'm gonna say
That's
some
all.
stuff,
That's
but-
all. That's all you need, dude. We'll figure out the rest of the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, gentlemen.
Okay.
Thanks for hopping on. Syndicate Crown. It's going to be an awesome show. Can't wait to see it. All right, guys. Pleasure, as always.
Is this true?
See you next time.